Peace be upon you. Mystical Islam, my friends. Today, we will share some incidents related to graves that will leave you astonished. These incidents involve the mention of the gardens of paradise for righteous people, the greenery around their graves, and the sounds of the Quran emanating from them. We consider it very important to share these matters with you. If you're new to our channel and haven't subscribed yet, we kindly request you to first click the subscribe button to become our subscriber. Also, don't forget to press the bell icon so that you receive notifications for our upcoming informative videos. My friends, incidents like these can happen anywhere and with anyone. However, incidents related to the blessed nature of the graves of the righteous are considered significant. One such incident occurred with Baba Abdul, a gravedigger at Shah Faisal Colony Gate Cemetery. Baba Abdul shared that people often say there are spirits in the cemetery, but in his long life spent there, he never witnessed anything like that. However, one incident truly astonished him. About 12 years ago, after the Maghrib prayer, he was digging a new grave when suddenly, from one side, he heard a very beautiful and melodious voice reciting the Holy Quran. It was a girl's voice, so enchanting that he had never heard such a recitation in his life. He stopped his work and sat there listening to the recitation. He tried to figure out where the voice was coming from, but he couldn't see anyone. Curious, he walked toward the direction of the voice. The moonlight was faint, and the surroundings were dimly lit by nearby buildings, making everything visible. He took a few steps and paused to observe the surroundings. It was completely silent. There was no human presence. As he got closer to the source of the voice, it grew louder, but then it suddenly stopped. Standing there in astonishment, he looked toward the graves, wondering where the voice was coming from. He resumed his work, and the recitation started again. He kept wondering who this girl was, reciting so beautifully, and why he couldn't see her. All around were graves, and he felt the recitation was coming from one of them. He was shocked that the voice of the Quran was emanating from inside a grave. He thought about how righteous some people must be, reciting the Quran even from their graves. Standing there, he sought forgiveness, saying, "Please forgive me if I disturbed you." For about 3 weeks, he kept watch over those graves, hoping to hear the voice again, but he never did. My friends, the sound of the Quran coming from a grave is indeed a reality. A similar incident occurred during the time of the Prophet, peace be upon him. You may have heard this story. Hazrat Abu Talha bin Ubaidullah, may Allah be pleased with him, narrated that he was tending to his land when night fell. He stayed near the grave of Hazrat Abdullah bin Haram, may Allah be pleased with him. As the night progressed, he heard an exceptionally beautiful recitation of the Quran from the grave, unlike anything he had heard before. When he returned to Medina and mentioned this to the Prophet, peace be upon him, the Prophet said, "O Abu Talha, don't you know that Allah has kept the souls of the martyrs alive, placing them in green birds in paradise? At night, their souls are released into their bodies, and in the morning, they return to their place." My friends, these authentic narrations prove that the righteous martyrs are alive in their graves with complete vitality. They can go wherever they wish, recite the Quran, and engage in various forms of worship. Now, let's talk about a grave in Karachi. Many people have heard the sound of the Quran from this grave. It belonged to a young man who was extremely obedient and devoted to his parents. His daily routine included offering the 5 daily prayers. He never missed his prayers. When he passed away and his grave was being dug for burial, everyone noticed that the soil of his grave seemed to rise on its own. Seeing this miracle, the scholar present there remarked that the grave was eagerly waiting for this young man. The grave was prepared quickly, and with the help of people's hands, it was completed in just 10 to 15 minutes. Years have passed since this incident, but even today, the fragrance of flowers is often felt around his grave, and the sounds of the Quran and the call to prayer, Adhan, are heard, lingering for a while before fading away. According to a report in the Pakistani newspaper Roznama Ahmad, a gravedigger named Abdul Qayyum pointed out a grave belonging to a 22-year-old young man who was very obedient and devoted to his parents. This young man never missed his daily prayers. When his grave was being dug, the soil seemed to move on its own, as if welcoming him. The scholar present said the grave was ready for him. The burial was completed easily, and even today, the fragrance of flowers and the sounds of the Quran and Adhan are often heard from his grave. Another incident mentioned by Raznama Ahmad occurred in a cemetery in Sherpal Mahalla, Landi, Karachi. A gravedigger reported that there is a grave of a pious woman in this cemetery. In 2007, during heavy rainfall, water entered the cemetery, damaging some temporary graves. A crack appeared near this woman's grave. When the gravedigger's grandfather reached there, a voice was heard saying, "Repair my grave, it's causing me distress." The woman's relatives were informed, and in their presence, the grave was repaired. It was later revealed that this woman was very religious and had opened a madrasa in her home, where she taught the Quran to many children in the area. The gravedigger said that once, while passing by her grave, he heard the recitation of the Quran coming from inside. Such incidents shake the heart. My friends, these stories from Raznama Ahmad align with the saying of the Prophet, peace be upon him, that Allah turns the graves of righteous believers into a garden from the gardens of paradise, while the graves of the disobedient are turned into a pit from the pits of hell. Now, we should reflect on our deeds. When we are placed in our graves, neither our parents nor our children will be of help. In this world, we often disregard what is lawful and unlawful. We should pray to be saved from the severe punishment of the grave. Even in this world, when the lights go out, we feel suffocated. Imagine what it will be like in a place of complete darkness, where only our good deeds will help us. May Allah protect us from the punishment of the grave. Lastly, my friends, if you like today's video, we kindly request you to subscribe to our Mystical Islam channel if you haven't already. Also, press the bell icon so that you receive notifications for our upcoming informative videos. My dear friends, as we reflect on these extraordinary stories from the graves of the righteous, let's pause and ask ourselves, what legacy are we building for the hereafter? The fragrance of flowers, the echoes of the Quran, and the Adhan rising from the graves of the pious are not mere coincidences. They're signs of Allah's mercy for those who lived with devotion. The Prophet, peace be upon him, taught us that the grave is either a garden from the gardens of paradise or a pit from the pits of hell. Which one are we preparing for? Every prayer we offer, every kind deed we perform, every moment we seek forgiveness shapes what awaits us. Imagine the darkness of the grave. Only our good deeds will light our path. Let's make a promise today to strive for righteousness, to hold fast to our prayers, and to live in a way that earns Allah's pleasure. These stories are a reminder that our time in this world is fleeting. The young man in Karachi, whose grave radiated with divine signs, and the pious woman whose devotion echoed through her grave, they left behind a lesson for us all. Their lives were a testament to obedience and faith. Let's take inspiration from them. Start small, offer your prayers on time, help those in need, and seek knowledge of the Quran. These actions, no matter how small they seem, are the seeds of paradise. My friends, if these stories have touched your heart, we urge you to join our Mystical Islam family. If you haven't already, please hit the subscribe button and press the bell icon to receive notifications for our upcoming videos filled with spiritual insights and guidance. Share this video with your loved ones. Spread the message of hope and righteousness. Let's build a community dedicated to learning and growing in faith together. As we conclude, let's make a dua. O Allah, forgive our shortcomings, guide us to the straight path, and make our graves a garden from the gardens of paradise. Ameen. Thank you for watching, my dear friends. Stay steadfast in your faith, and may Allah bless you all. Jazakallah khair, and until next time, Assalamu alaikum.